Many of us begin our day with a familiar ritual. We wake up, often feeling groggy and far from rested, and our first action is to brew a cup of coffee. Within minutes of that first sip, a sense of alertness seems to wash over us. We believe this potent beverage has injected us with energy, equipping us to face the demands of the day. This perception, however, is a fundamental misunderstanding of what is actually happening within our brain. The energy you feel is not new energy being created. It is merely the temporary masking of fatigue. This common habit sets a biochemical snare that I call the adenosine trap. This trap is not a metaphor, it is a real physiological process with predictable consequences. Your reliance on that immediate morning caffeine hit is creating a debt of sleepiness that will inevitably come due to be collected later in the day. Think of it less as a source of fuel, and more as a high-interest loan against your body's natural alertness signals. You are borrowing wakefulness from the future, and the interest rate is steep. The feeling of exhaustion it is designed to combat is, in a cruel irony, often amplified by the very mechanism of action that makes coffee seem so effective in the first place. The core issue lies with a molecule in your brain called adenosine. This compound is the primary driver of what we perceive as sleep pressure or sleepiness. Throughout the day, as your neurons fire and your brain performs its countless tasks, adenosine accumulates as a natural byproduct. The longer you are awake, the higher the concentration of adenosine becomes. This buildup is not a flaw in our biology. It is a feature. It is a gentle, persistent signal telling your body that it is time to rest and recover, ensuring you get the sleep you need to repair and reset for the following day. When you disrupt this natural process with an immediate dose of caffeine, upon waking, you are interfering with a crucial biological rhythm. You are essentially hitting the snooze button on your brain's sleepiness signal without actually addressing the underlying need for rest. This act of chemical deception is the first step into the adenosine trap. It creates a false sense of alertness that feels real but is built on a fragile foundation, one that is destined to crumble as the hours wear on, impact your focus, impact your mood, impact your productivity for the rest of the day. To truly grasp how to escape the adenosine trap, we must first understand the molecule at its center. Adenosine. Adenosine is a neuromodulator that helps regulate the sleep-wake cycle. It is produced by the breakdown of adenosine triphosphate, ATP, the primary energy currency of our cells. Every time a neuron fires, it uses ATP for energy, and a byproduct of that is adenosine. So simply being awake and thinking causes adenosine levels to rise across the day. That accumulation creates sleep pressure. Think of it as an hourglass. In the morning after a good night's sleep, the hourglass is mostly empty. Now, let's introduce caffeine into this delicate biochemical system. Caffeine is the world's most widely consumed psychoactive substance, and its power lies in its remarkable structural similarity to adenosine. At a molecular level, caffeine is a masterful impostor. It is so similar in shape to adenosine that it can fit perfectly into the same A1 receptors, A2A receptors. However, while it fits into the lock, it does not turn the key. It acts as an antagonist, a blocker. It occupies the receptor site, preventing adenosine from docking there. This blocking action is precisely why you feel more awake after drinking coffee. With caffeine molecules occupying the adenosine receptors, the sleep-promoting signal from adenosine cannot get through. Your neurons are prevented from receiving the message to slow down. As a result, neural activity can remain high, or even increase, leading to the familiar feelings of heightened alertness, focus, vigilance. You have not gained any new energy. You have simply placed a temporary roadblock in the path of the molecule that tells you that you are tired. The crucial point to understand is that caffeine does not remove adenosine from your system. While caffeine is busy acting as a bouncer at the door of your neural receptors, the adenosine that your brain is continuously producing is not going anywhere. It continues to accumulate in the extracellular space, building up to higher and higher concentrations. The sleep pressure is still mounting, but you are completely unaware of it because the signal has been muted. This is the essence of the deception. You feel alert, but the underlying physiological drive for sleep is growing stronger with each passing hour. The feeling many people describe as the 2 p.m. crash is not a random event or a sign of a poor lunch choice. Throughout the morning, as you have been powered by caffeine, adenosine has been building up relentlessly in the background. Around midday or early afternoon, the effects of your morning coffee begin to wane as your liver metabolizes the caffeine. The half-life of caffeine is typically around 5 to 6 hours, meaning by early afternoon a significant portion of an 8 a.m. dose is gone. As the caffeine molecules detach from the adenosine receptors, those receptors suddenly become available. At the same time, You have an unusually high concentration of adenosine waiting for an opportunity to bind. What happens next is a physiological onslaught. All that accumulated adenosine rushes in to bind to the newly freed receptors, all at once. This creates a massive, sudden wave of sleepiness far more intense than gradual fatigue. This is the 2 p.m. crash. This sudden flood of adenosine binding triggers a powerful downturn in alertness. An almost overwhelming desire to sleep, significant brain fog, difficulty concentrating, irritability, dramatic drop in physical energy, dramatic drop in mental energy. The key to escaping this debilitating cycle is not to eliminate caffeine entirely, but to be more strategic about its timing, right? The solution is a simple but powerful protocol centered on a single behavioral change. Delay your morning caffeine intake for 90 to 120 minutes after waking. This period is a critical window of opportunity to allow your body's natural systems to manage your state of alertness. By implementing this delay, you can effectively sidestep the adenosine trap and achieve a much more stable level of energy throughout the day. This is the 90-minute protocol. The first and most crucial step upon waking is not to reach for coffee, but to get bright light exposure. Ideally, this means getting outside for 10 to 15 minutes. Sunlight is the most powerful signal for setting your body's master circadian clock. This light exposure, particularly in the morning, triggers a cascade of hormonal events, including the healthy timing of cortisol release, a hormone that promotes wakefulness and alertness. It also helps to halt the production of melatonin, the hormone of darkness. This light-driven alertness is clean, natural, and does not come with an afternoon crash. While you are getting your morning light, your body is also naturally clearing some of the adenosine that may be lingering from the night before. Everyone wakes with some level of adenosine in their system. Waiting 90 to 120 minutes gives your brain a chance to metabolize and reduce these initial levels on its own. When you then introduce caffeine, there is less adenosine present to be blocked, which means there will be a smaller buildup waiting to crash down on you later. You are allowing your body to reach a natural baseline of alertness before you introduce a stimulant. Therefore, the rescue protocol is simple and actionable. Step 1. Wake up. Step 2. Get 10 to 30 minutes of bright sunlight exposure as soon as possible. Go outside if you can. Step 3. Only after 90 to 120 minutes have passed since waking should you have your first cup of coffee or other form of caffeine. This simple delay allows your cortisol rhythm to peak naturally and gives your body time to clear out residual adenosine, setting you up for a day of sustained focus and avoiding the dramatic energy cliff of the 2 p.m. crash. Mastering the 90-minute morning protocol is the most impactful step you can take, but further optimization can help maintain stable energy all day. Once you've delayed morning caffeine, be mindful of total caffeine intake and the timing of any later doses. Use caffeine to enhance focus and performance, not as a crutch for poor sleep hygiene or a mistimed morning routine. Moderation matters. If you need an afternoon boost, consider alternatives. Avoid immediately reaching for a large coffee, which can disrupt sleep. Explore other options. Try a short 20-minute nap. It reduces adenosine and gives a cognitive reset. This can be a non-sleep deep rest or yoga nidra. Both can improve alertness without caffeine. If you choose caffeine, make it a smaller dose, a half cup of coffee or a cup of green tea. Set a firm afternoon cutoff. Caffeine's half-life is 5 to 6 hours, so late caffeine interferes with falling asleep and clearing adenosine overnight. Avoid caffeine 8 to 10 hours before bedtime. For most people, no coffee or other caffeinated products after 2 p.m. This habit can dramatically improve sleep quality. Sleep is the most powerful tool for daily energy. No caffeine hack replaces chronic, high-quality sleep. Time caffeine well, and avoid late doses, and you'll sleep better. The narrative that coffee provides energy is a persistent myth. In reality, it is a powerful neuromodulator that works by blocking the fatigue signals in your brain. This action, particularly when engaged in immediately upon waking, sets the adenosine trap. This trap involves the artificial suppression of sleepiness, while the underlying physiological pressure for sleep continues to build, leading to the predictable and debilitating 2 p.m. crash. The crash happens when the caffeine begins to wear off, and the accumulated adenosine floods your system. This is not a failure of willpower, it is a simple matter of biochemistry. Get sunlight first, wait 90 minutes, then, if you choose, consume your caffeine.